Hey there, my name's Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast.
I live for this kind of stuff, man.
The streak of chalk bewitcheth the hen.
If you don't want to be haunted, don't be racist. What about the Headless Chicken? Have you guys ever heard about that?
Is it?
What?
What?
Wait. Yes. What was his name? Mike? Mike
What
the
are you
Headless
talking
Chicken?
about?
Have you ever heard of... Dude, I forgot about
Mike
this guy.
the Headless Chicken.
Have you ever heard of
yes.
Mike the Headless Chicken?
No, I have no idea
All
what
right,
you're
send
talking
him
about
over.
right
I don't
now.
know where that just came from.
Tree Boy is going ballistic in the chat over Mike the Headless
Yeah,
Chicken.
I am
right
going
now.
ballistic. I don't even know where that came from. So, first off, cool lore about Mike, okay?
He's headless.
Before we go, yeah,
Little known fact.
That is a little thing about this chicken. He doesn't have a head. Also cool lore. He's from Fruita, Colorado, which is right by Grand Junction, I believe. My brother lived in Colorado for a while. Obviously not Jackson, different brother. Right outside of Fruita. He didn't actually live in Fruita technically, but they still stan Mike the Headless Chicken. Like, he's still a well-known celebrity from the area.
Well-known celebrity.
dude.
Who was Mike the Headless Chicken?
Well, let
He
me
was
tell you, he was a chicken. And I like that they have his, born and died on here. He was born April 20th, 1945, died March 17th, 1947.
But his execution was somewhere in between.
Yeah, somewhere in between, they cut his head off.
What?
Basically, on September 10th, 1945, good old Lloyd Olson from Fruita, Colorado, was planning to eat supper with his mother-in-law.
So he's like, hey, Mike, come here.
Let's see what we got. So he chose a 5.5-month-old chicken named Mike, lined it up on the stump, got it all ready, lopped off the head with an axe, but he missed the jugular vein, so it left one ear and most of the brain stem still intact. He was like, wow, well, we kind of failed there, but it got up and it was able to balance and clumsily walked around for a bit, and it did everything that a chicken could do. It kept walking around and living life as a chicken
What?
would. It tried to peck
That's
for
so
food,
scary.
and make noise. His crowing consisted of gurgling sounds from his throat, and he did not die. Usually, chickens will
I mean,
kind
to
of
be
flail
fair,
around a bit for a while. The wings will
I was
flap
about
and
to
they'll
say,
kick and
most
stuff.
chickens, when they die, they have their head cut off. It's just how we kill them before we eat them.
Yeah,
The advantage is not that he was headless; it was that he lived after being headless.
that was the thing. Is he
Right,
wasn't
right.
just, his muscles weren't just contracting and he was flailing around like they normally do. When you actually think about what you are, what your brain really is, all of the automatic, heartbeat, breathing, a lot of that's in the brainstem. Chickens aren't exactly all that bright. There's not a whole lot that Mike was doing that didn't involve basic instinct, and so
Yeah.
he was really
Yeah.
fine. He was.
Granted, he used to be pretty funny, but his jokes kind of fell flat after this.
Yeah, he
lost
kinda,
a lot of what made Mike, but
Yeah, but
He did not know why he crossed the road, but then again, most people do. So
He
yeah,
couldn't tell
Olsen
anyone.
decided to care for this animal after seeing that it wasn't dead, and he ended up using an eyedropper to feed it. And eventually, somehow he would get grain and corn and even worms into this chicken somehow. I don't even know how he did that.
yeah, I didn't think about that because the chicken couldn't eat anymore.
And apparently, yeah, he was like, hey, we got a headless chicken. So, his farmer started taking him around to shows and such.
Yeah,
And
he got
showing
clout
him
for it.
among anomalies. And was just kind of some famous thing. It took a bunch of pictures of him and published him in magazines and papers. He was featured in Time and Life. He was put on display to the public for an admission cost of 25 cents, and at the height of his popularity, $4,500 per month, which is equivalent to about $61,400.
Wow.
He didn't. Oh,
Per month.
He earned it. So he was he was
Per month, yeah.
raking in.
He was
cash
making
with this
bank
chicken.
off of this chicken.
And imagine while all this is happening, he's a worldwide sensation. Mike the Chicken has no way of even being able to detect his fame.
He has
no eyes.
There's nothing here.
No mouth. I don't think that one ear that was left, did it still work? Could he hear anything?
There's no way that's processed in the brainstem, so no. I mean,
No, he would not have been able to
no,
really.
that wouldn't
no.
really make any sense.
I mean, to be fair,
Brainstem
chickens don't
doesn't
really
do much
process
processing.
that much anyway, but he wouldn't have.
Well, they
Right.
still have to receive stimuli. I mean, they can hear
Yeah.
you if you make noise. That's still
But
enough.
then,
The brain
unfortunately,
just doesn't do much with it.
We got to get
But
into the sad part of the story.
this was not to last.
No,
Oh,
unfortunately, in March of 1947, at a motel in Phoenix, Arizona, I'm just reading straight from the wiki here, Mike started choking in the middle of the night because he had
Oh,
managed to get a kernel of corn stuck in his throat. They had left their feeding and cleaning syringes at the sideshow the day before and were unable to save Mike.
oh,
So sad.
man.
Although apparently, Mr. Olson, the farmer who had him, claimed that he had sold Mike just to keep it going. So he's like, "Oh, he's not dead. No, we just sold him." And so apparently, for the next 2 years, people were still swearing that he was still touring the country and they'd seen him and stuff. And there was just this rumor of this headless chicken that died.
That didn't
2 years ago.
exist.
He was like, "Yeah,
He's still going. Wow.
regardless."
So the public
yeah.
didn't even know. This is actually what happened to Jackson. Jackson died like 2 years ago choking on a kernel, and we're just using
Yeah.
all the rehashed footage.
Yeah, we're just
We're using
kinda
AI to
pretending
keep him
he's
alive.
dead,
The audience
actually.
doesn't know.
We lost him.
Yeah, remember Ben's episode where we said Jackson died?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually
We
real.
weren't lying.
We weren't lying. I'll have to have a special necromancy episode where we bring him back.
Does this make chickens like the dumbest animal? Because I mean, bro could literally survive without a head and was largely, I mean, based on what I'm reading here, was largely still himself. Like he was still a chicken, could do all the things a chicken could do. Granted, he couldn't like eat stuff, but he was still kicking. He was still moving
So,
around. Like if you can survive without
yes,
your entire head,
that is a
Wow.
phenomenon. Birds are really dumb. Part of it is because they have something called a lumbosacral organ that's down kind of by the pelvis. And basically, what that does is it controls walking. So basically, it can walk without having a brain because it does its walking thinking with its pelvis.
I think overall with Mike the Headless Chicken, I feel like the moral of the story here is to learn the Heimlich maneuver because like bro survived being beheaded, but
He
That
not
survived
corn
eating a
kernel.
piece of corn. Do you think they could like squeezed him and the piece of corn would have shot out? Like,
I'm afraid that more than that would have shot out. Like,
yeah, actually,
he was
you're kind of
headless.
yeah.
That's
There's nothing to.
Oh man.
Well, it's
that's
something
terrible.
they tried to look for the like all of like the eyedroppers and stuff to maybe get it out, and it wasn't. There was nothing because they
Yeah,
left
they
it. At
left
the
them all.
They
show.
left all their stuff behind.
That's
So that's
unfortunate.
another moral here. Don't leave your stuff behind. But on the concept of chickens not being very intelligent animals, we could also go into chicken hypnotism. I don't know if there's ever going to be a more
Oh, dude,
convenient
actually,
time to
yeah,
bring
that
this
is.
up.
I just saw you send the chicken hypnotism article. What?
Are you guys aware of this? I've actually
So,
made
yeah,
use
so-
of this before. It's a lot of fun.
A chicken? Okay. Hold on. Can I just read the opening line?
Yeah,
on
have
this
you ever heard of
Wikipedia
this
article?
before?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
wow,
okay.
okay.
A chicken can be hypnotized or put into a trance with its head down near the ground by drawing a line along the ground with a stick or finger, starting at the beak and extending straight outwards in front of the chicken. It will continue to stare at the line and remain immobile for as long as 30 minutes.
Yep. That
What?
is a real thing.
Can it just not handle a geometric
Apparently,
line?
the brain breaks. It gives up. Early reference of this phenomenon was described in 1646. I don't know what purpose the book serves, but it tells you how to hypnotize a chicken. So evidently, it was a useful text.
Chicken hypnosis tutorial.
Pathologists call this state tonic immobility, which is a natural state of semi-paralysis that some animals enter when presented with a threat. It's basically playing dead.
Chickens
Yeah, exactly.
hate long lines.
The thing is,
Geometric
like-
lines used to be chicken's #1 predator.
One can also hypnotize a chicken by mimicking how it sleeps with its head under its wing. In this method, you can place its head under the wing and rock a chicken
Aw,
gently
you-
back and forth.
Aw, that's not, dude.
And it'll
And it
basically just
tricks
power
it into
down.
thinking that it's asleep.
The record for the hypnosis there is 3 hours and 47 minutes of a chicken just laying there because it thinks that it's asleep.
Wow.
Aw.
I wish that worked for me.
The human mind is very much vulnerable to that kind of BS as well. So
Yeah, but this is
that being
wild.
said, it's not quite as easy as just drawing a line.
Drawing a
Like,
line and we just freeze like
I don't know. I really do wonder what compels the chicken to do this? Like, what is going on inside the chicken brain, or
I
maybe
don't know.
lack
Well, it's such a
thereof?
rudimentary
Maybe they think
mind,
it's like a
right?
snake right in front of them and they're afraid to move.
This one
I
time we
feel
were
like
at the
I don't know.
farm. We take care of our friends' chickens occasionally when they're on
Yeah.
vacation. And at night, they naturally go back into their coop. The moment the sun goes down, they're like, okay, now it's time to go into the coop. It's like an instinctive thing.
Actually, yeah, they're
Well,
pretty
one
good
time
about it.
we were shutting them in the coop, and my mom drove over with the lights, and they all ran out of the coop and thought it was day again.
Yeah, she shone
Oh
the
no.
headlights over on the coop, and yeah, they all hopped down and they were all like ready to start the day.
Oh
And yep,
no.
they were all clucking and ready to go. They like got up and stretched and hopped down. And I was like, oh darn it, okay, turn the lights off. So we turned off the lights, and they
And
all
they were like, what happened?
just hopped back into the coop and went back to
Oh,
bed. It was so funny.
There's another way, apparently, to hypnotize a chicken, according to 1980s British musician Steve Fairney. He said you have to dominate the chicken and be right above it, staring into its eyes. And then he went on to say, then it will either go under or it will viciously attack you. So you have to be careful. Now, I feel like of all the ways to hypnotize a chicken, this is not the way to do it. Okay,
so you essentially you send it into like fight or flight. It
Yes.
either just powers down or it will try to kill you.
Dude, Nietzsche talks about it. Hold on, what does he say?
Friedrich
And-
Nietzsche talked
yeah,
about it.
and the
Hold on, can I read
Thus
this?
spoke Zarathustra. I love Nietzsche, dude. I love him so much, man.
He just says, I'll read you exactly what he says. The streak of chalk bewitcheth the hen. The stroke he struck bewitched his weak reason. Madness after the deed, I call this.
It sounds like Nietzsche.
The unhappy man has heard, has understood. He is like a hen around which a line has been drawn. He cannot get out of this drawn circle. Well, Nietzsche was really fascinated by this.
Dude, Nietzsche was really fascinated by everything. Okay, we could spend an entire separate episode talking about Nietzsche.
I did not expect to see
Nietzsche-
Friedrich Nietzsche in the freaking chicken
Dude.
hypnosis wiki.
What a fella. Apparently farm animals just really bothered him. Okay, we can get more into that in a different episode, but they were a big deal for the guy.
Hi, Jesse again. Hope you're enjoying the lore so far. Here's the thing, all the podcasts that I listen to and really enjoy, I didn't just stumble upon them, a friend recommended them to me, and that's how I started listening. So if you've got a friend who's a non-reptilian, they don't blink sideways or hiss or anything, send them this podcast. Just send them the link to this episode with no context, and we'll just see what happens. Thanks for being a part of what makes this podcast grow, and yeah, thanks for listening. Here's the rest of the episode. We've got a request in the Discord from Eucalam to discuss Lake Lanier, and he's requested this a few times on the server. Oh, look at that. He even dropped the
look
link
at that,
for
dude.
us.
My man
All right, you know
Kula
what?
is ready to go. Okay.
You know what? We will discuss Lake Lanier.
We're about to find out just how haunted is Lake Lanier.
Actually, wait. Eucala, can you give us, or Kula, I'm sorry. Can you give us like a summary? Give us like a one-sentence summary of Lake Lanier. Man, go. In the lake. Don't come out. And then all right, that's
Not
pretty
gonna
much
lie,
what I know
that
of
is a
Lake Lanier.
chilling story. Okay,
Put that on one sentence horror stories.
Honestly, guys, I am a little too scared right now. Can we change the topic?
Yeah, I don't know.
I need to be able to sleep tonight.
Eucala says no, but for real, people jump in and just don't come back up. It's insane. Okay, so let's get into this. The haunting of
okay.
Lake Lanier. I know a little bit about this lake. To give you like the spark notes, it's a lake where allegedly there's a lot of dead people, lots of graves that were buried by the lake, and it's haunted. And I think there's a lot of racism involved with Lake Lanier also.
Oh.
I don't...
It's the largest lake in Georgia, one of the deadliest in the U.S., because apparently 500 people have died there in this man-made lake.
Somebody else just died at Lake Lanier about a month ago.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Lots of people do die at this lake.
Yeah, apparently.
That is not like spooky story. That's true. It was built for flood control and water supplies. Its construction destroyed more than 50,000 acres of farmland and displaced 250 families, 15 businesses, and relocated 20 cemeteries. along with their remains in the process. But allegedly, those cemeteries were not moved. Like, they just flooded the graves and left all of the dead people.
You know what happens if you build something above a burial ground? That's like, I'm gonna be honest here, rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake, dude. If you know anything about ghosts, you should have known this was a bad idea. So this lake kills a lot of people, and that's part of the reason they say it's haunted. Now, there are a couple reasons for this. Number one, ghosts. Obviously, there's a lot of them in this lake. The dead are dragging down the living. It's kind of like the dead marshes from Lord of the Rings. Second reason is because there's a lot of stuff in this lake. Like, there's an entire town under there. It's 50,000 acres of land and like businesses and churches, homes, mills. So there's a lot of stuff, and I think people go swimming in there and often get caught because there's a lot of man-made structures in this lake, and it's very easy to get stuck down there.
Oh, there is an entire ghost town underneath of the lake.
No, yeah, that's the thing. It is literally a
okay.
ghost town. And the thing is, the more people die in this lake, obviously, the more angry
Haunted
spirits
it's gonna
that
be.
creates.
Okay.
So it's just like a
ghost farm, like
ghost farm.
AFK ghost farm.
They're literally just AFK ghost farm. Lake Lanier. Chalk in the Discord says anti-submechaphobic lake. I wouldn't go within 50 miles of this place.
So
joke's on you. We're taking you straight to it. Okay.
I mean, this is a picture of one of the things under Lake Lanier, and as you can see, it's very easy to get
Are
stuck.
you about to drop submechaphobia in the chat? Chalk is going to lose his mind.
Chalk, we're giving you more submechanophobia, okay? Get scared. I live for this kind of stuff, man.
Oh, yikes. Yeah,
dude,
that's a scary picture.
I want to be an underwater welder.
Here is much more of an accurate tale as to what's going on. So 700 deaths is a lot. That being said, 12 million people visit the lake annually, which is a lot of people.
Yeah, but like compare that to other lakes. Like millions of people visit the Great Lakes too, and they don't rack up nearly that kill count.
How many people have drowned in Lake Erie? Okay, let's find that because that's where we live. Okay.
Oh, okay. While you Google that, Matthew, I figured out where the racism comes from.
Yeah, I was going down a little bit. There's a lot of racism.
There was some lynching that happened there back in the day. There was just a lot of just general racism and hatred against blacks in the area. And of course, the lynching begat more violence, and there were mobs.
A lot of racially motivated hate crimes that were happening in this town.
This lake is notorious, and I mean notorious, for boat DWIs. A lot of people drive or go out boating in this lake drunk. Oh, forgive me. Okay, it's boating under the influence, so it's not okay. I'm sorry.
So it's BWI
under the influence.
It's BUI actually.
BUI.
Is that a real charge?
I thought that was like a Mormon college, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it had the highest number of boating under the influence of like any lake, I believe, in America in 2023. So I don't know what's going on with this lake, but that actually makes a lot more sense here.
Probably adds to it.
So what you're telling me is that a bunch of salty white people hated the black town, and so we flooded it, and then the same salty white people 100 years later keep getting drunk and going fishing at 2 a.m. They fall into the lake and drown, and they're like, "It's the ghosts of the black people. It's the."
Oh my! Yeah, actually, that puts it into perspective. That's really
dog. There is no way that you can word this story that makes white people look good. Okay, like.
It's just so racist. Like, we can't even let them rest in peace.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is just an embarrassment. Like this.
So you can go diving. People have gone diving in here.
Well, yeah, which is a horrible idea because there's a whole town. You can so easily get stuck.
Dude, that'd be so interesting though to go diving in an underwater ghost town.
Debris and rubble, everything from sunken boats to lawn chairs and fishing wire, create a treacherous underwater obstacle course. Coupled with the lake's low visibility, rescue operations are dangerous. This reminds me, it feels unfair to say this, but this kind of reminds me of the Demon Truck a little bit, where it's like, yeah, there's these ghosts that inhabit this incredibly hazardous environment where people are constantly disobeying the law. and it's the ghosts that kill them.
You know what? I live for that kind of crap, though. I would say Lake Lanier seems a little spooky.
Do not drink and boat on Lake Lanier, because if the cops don't get you, the ghosts will. Goatman, all I can think of when I hear Goatman is Buzzfeed, dude, and that just removes all respect I have for this story. But I'm gonna try to go in with an open mind.
So I will say that growing up in Maryland, like the Snallygaster, I felt like was like a really interesting, like lore-filled cryptid. The Goatman of Maryland to me always just felt really forced. Like it
Yeah,
felt more like we needed like a version of Sasquatch, so we were just like Goatman. Like
So there are multiple different Goatmans, as I understand it, because there was one in Maryland where I grew up. There's one in California that I heard about, and this is one in Texas that I've never heard about.
I'm also seeing, like Lake Lanier, there is racism deeply ingrained in the roots of the Goatman. Yeah, let's get into this. Who is Goatman? Where's his bridge?
The old tale goes, there was an African American entrepreneur named Oscar Washburn and his family who tended a farmstead goat herd. So they were goat farmers, not too far from the bridge,
Right.
and they were known for the quality, goat meat and milk and cheese and hides. They were goat farmers.
Right.
Mr. Oscar Washburn here, he hung a sign on the old bridge that said, "This way to the Goat Man." This made the old KKK mad. They did not like this because a black man is getting a reputation, notoriety.
He's
making
becoming
money.
Goated.
Whoa! They did not like this.
He's hustling.
So
We can't have this.
one dark night, these people stormed his farm and dragged the Goat Man to the bridge and did what they did best, and tied him up and sent him over the bridge to hang him. But when the rope came down, and they looked down to see what had happened, the rope was empty. There was no one there. So they began searching around, trying to see, what happened. Where could this guy have gone?
Where
Did
he must have
fall
gotten
off?
away.
Like, we had him tied up. So they frantically began searching the area, trying to find out where did the Goat Man go. And they set fire to his house to just make sure, nothing could happen.
Oh, and they did that to try to lure him out because they thought, okay, this guy's still out here in the woods somewhere. Let's lure him out by setting fire to his house.
Which is evil.
Man, this is very dark. BuzzFeed didn't do this justice.
Oscar Washburn was never seen again.
Until TikTok. And then people started spotting him all over the place.
The Goat Man became everywhere. So the idea goes that after that happened, now there is a half man, half goat who lives by the bridge, who basically stalks the area and haunts all those who go by the bridge late at night.
basically what we've learned this episode is that if you don't want to be haunted, don't be racist.
Yeah,
basically
for real. This is
Yeah.
this is terrible.
Can we make
So-
a movie about ghosts haunting racist people in the South? Can we just make that?
We don't need to make it
Make
as a
that a
movie
movie.
because apparently it already happened.
It's just
Yeah, it's just
reality. I don't know.
happening.
That being said, there are no records of an Oscar Washburn or Jack Kendall anywhere else having ever existed.
Oh, well, he was a
so-
famous entrepreneur and evidently pretty successful goat herder, and there's no record of him.
No record of him at all.
Suspect.
If you knock on the steel bridge 3 times at midnight or turn off your car lights and honk 3 times, you'll start smelling the stench of decaying flesh before seeing the unholy glowing eyes in the darkness, and the Goat Man will show up.
Does the goat man not mind if you park the car with the headlights on and just lay on the horn? But like if you turn the headlights off, he just goes, "Oh, Dad, you're asking for it now."
I don't know that he's really out for blood. I don't know if there's any accounts of him killing anybody.
Yeah, I kind of like to think that he is not trying to scare people. People just keep they'll drive up and park their car and turn off the lights, and then he's just going for a night stroll, and suddenly they honk the horn 3 times and turn their lights
that is
on,
the
and
thing,
he's there.
Dog,
And he's
if
like,
if I am a ghost, a half ghost, half wait, half ghost,
If
half
you're a
goat. Okay,
half ghost,
we'll say
half
that.
goat, half man.
Yeah, if I'm there, okay, I'm hanging out, living my life.
150% there.
Okay, suddenly some car shows up and starts honking his horn and flicking his headlights on and off, and it's 3 a.m. Like, dog, there is no way that I'm not climbing up on the bridge and yelling at them to get off my lawn. Like,
Yeah.
he's probably trying to sleep. Like,
Just leave him alone. You guys always show up at 3 a.m. Why
Dude,
is it
come
3
on.
a.m.?
Dude, poor goat man. Also, I really like this discussion here that you gotta bring him a sandwich because he's hungry.
Sample text in the Discord says, if I heard that, I'm bringing a sandwich because I know he's hungry.
Yeah, send the
Raph said
Scooby-Doo
sacrificial hoagie.
Dude,
If I pull up with Jersey Mike's,
man.
will the Goatman accept my sacrificial offering?
Also, according to one of the comments down here, they say that if you go on Christmas, the goat man has lights in his beard. Which
He's like, well, just for this one day.
which is kind of funny.
That's really funny.
Dude, if I died, okay, if I ever get murdered, y'all, hands down, you know I'm coming back, okay?
Oh, we
I
know.
always come back, okay? If anything happens, I don't care what it is. I am a ghost.
Matthew's coming
okay?
back.
I'm pulling up.
I mean, obviously, if this guy was actually lynched by the KKK back in the day, that's horrible. Oscar Washburn.
Yeah, that's something.
Like, that's a terrible thing. I respect the backstory, but it has kind of gained 3 a.m. energy.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I think that the best way to sum it up is actually how they summed it up at the end of the article. Just says, the Goatman isn't just a haunting campfire tale. It's also a reminder that ignorance of our history is no protection from its everlasting consequences.
Yes.
I think that's a solid wrap up there. That's a good way to end the article. Also, apparently people have stated to avoid playing around the bridge and stuff because there's plenty of apparently poison ivy as well as critters like snakes and gators that live down in the creek.
Right.
Yeah.
If you do find Goatman Bridge, take some pictures, but don't go diving into the creek.
Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you did, leave a like, leave a review, subscribe for more episodes, share it with a friend, you know the stuff. Thanks for listening, and I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm going to go post that one on twitter.com.